David Spark, reporting for Spark Media Solutions, and this is my end of show report for the 2014 RSA Conference and Security B-Sides, or what I like to call the annual Scare the Crap Out of Me Festival. Yeah, there is a lot I learned at this conference that I did not know anything about prior to coming here. The overall theme here is about your data and the insane proliferation of your data. It is everywhere. And the surface area of attack is pretty much infinite, far greater than anyone can physically handle, and it very much concerns security people. Does not concern the users so much, and that really worries security people who feel they are not getting enough respect nor getting enough resources through money and people to solve the problem. At the beginning of this conference, there was a little bit of controversy. Of the 25,000 people in attendance, 8 of the speakers chose not to come out of protest against what the RSA is doing, somewhat a little shady, possibly, with the NSA. Now, Nawaf Bitar of Juniper Networks finds this rather foolish, called them out in his keynote presentation, and said, not showing up to a conference is not protesting, as is liking something on Facebook or retweeting something. He referred to this as first world outrage, and in fact used a hashtag to call it out. He says we need to get a lot angrier against cybercrime and violations of our privacy. And nothing's going to change until we really rise up. Now, there are some attempts that are being done by groups such as Joshua Corman's I Am the Cavalry movement, and also Wendy Nather of the 451 Research said she thinks this is good, but just asking people to get angrier is not going to happen, because right now the majority of breaches are against huge corporations that make billions and are losing millions. It's not affecting us personally. And when that happens, then you'll see some serious outrage. Now, you don't need to be hacked to lose your personal data. As Dave Chronister of Parameter Security discovered, he searched through PhotoBucket, through the newly added photos, and found a treasure trove of people's personal information. That's because on their PhotoBucket app on their phone, they had the option set to automatically upload every photo they took on the phone and make it public as well. Well, people took photos of their credit cards, front and back, social security cards, birth certificates, W-2 forms, and paychecks. And that's not the worst case of it all. If you have one of those routers that allows you to plug in a USB drive and all of a sudden make it network accessible, you better check its settings. Because 3 manufacturers, Asus is one of them, have the default setting to be a public, anonymous FTP server with complete read-write privileges. And people, I guess unknowingly, were backing up their entire hard drives and making them completely public to anyone who see it. Chronister did a scan of anonymous FTP servers and found 3,000 of them with literally all information possible from personal computers. I want to talk about some real hacks that are going on, some new hacks. And those are the hacks that are sometimes done wirelessly. And there is a wireless hack that goes on where someone could walk by you with a briefcase. And in that briefcase, there could be a computer running and scanning RFID tags. And if they walk by you in a hotel, they could possibly clone your hotel key. In another case, air-gapped networks, which are networks that are completely off the internet grid, supposedly completely secure because of that, are actually susceptible. Because your users have cell phones that are internet connected. And many of them may just think, hey, I want to charge up my cell phone by plugging it via USB cable to this computer on our network that's supposedly air-gapped. Well, not anymore now that it's connected to this. Can you fight back against these kinds of things? Can you hack the hacker? Can you be a cyber vigilante? Well, Bruce Hyman of K&L Gates suggests you don't do this. And here's why. He says, while it may be very legal, or excuse me, actually very illegal to do something like that, to become a cyber vigilante, and also you probably won't get prosecuted on this, even if it was legal and you wouldn't get prosecuted, you shouldn't be a cyber vigilante. You shouldn't hack back at the hackers because, as we all know, the hackers use innocent people in their attacks. And if you fight back, chances are extraordinarily high that you are going to hit innocent people in your retaliation. So what should you do? Well, we all know that technology is heavily involved in dealing with this problem, but so is people and processes, and that was heavily stressed here. In fact, many of the companies behind me are offering training programs for security awareness to help employees learn more. And also gamification, voluntary program where people can learn about security and actually win prizes in the process. There's also two other things you should be thinking about. Art Gilliland of HP, he suggested that security people really understand the entire marketplace of cybercrime. Understand the motivations at every single step, because the organization or the entity that ultimately steals your data may be 2 or 3 steps away from the entity that actually compromised your network. And if you can understand the motivations at each step, you can more effectively combat it. Steve Trilling of Symantec had an even more bold approach. He suggested a more collective approach where we all share all of our network information and our usage information into one giant big data database that can be searched by all of us. And instead of waiting 6-9 months to know whether we've been breached, we could find out in hours or even minutes. You know, it is possible, but it would require an enormous amount of cooperation. I am somewhat hopeful. This is David Spark at the RSA Conference 2014, reporting for Spark Media Solutions.